I'm Vinnie Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Just like the woman on the other mic. I'm talking about the beautiful Miss Gina Grad. Yeah.
Can I tell you how excited I am that you played that? Because last night, as we record this,
Yeah.
a girlfriend of mine texted me and goes, "Are you a big Rolling Stones fan? Like current Rolling Stones fan? Because I might be able to pull some strings and get tickets to the SoFi Stadium show." I go, "Yes, yes, please, yes." So I might get to see them soon. I saw them a few years ago at what everyone deemed Old Cella.
Yeah.
Rocked it. It was amazing. Had a blast. So I love that you just played that.
You know, I would go see him again. And the last two times I saw him, I worked security once at the Superdome.
Oh my
They hired
god.
Chilene's football team as security. And and then the next time was Steel Wheels, I think. Or
Oh,
yeah.
Steelers Wheels?
No,
Steelers Wheel?
no, Steelers Wheels is a group.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant.
No, Steel Wheels Tour. They had
Oh,
Steel
that's what it's
Wheels
called.
Tour. Gina, I guarantee that you were probably born. Do we actually know? Text me when you were. I don't have my phone here. I don't know when you
I
were
can't
actually
even give
born.
you any hand signals
Yeah,
because
people will see it.
you
Um,
tell me and I'll tell you hot or cold. What year?
Steel Wheels, I think, came around. Oh, you were born 1985,
Oh,
6.
yeah. I was but a wee
You were
thing, but
you were on the
yes.
ground.
Yeah,
Um,
I was on terra firma.
yeah, that was great when. Yeah, the Stones used to pop through New Orleans every time.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
great. Oh
because
my god.
I mean they used New Orleans to rhyme in songs.
I was gonna
Every
say,
band did at some point.
yeah,
Yeah,
kind of a home base in a way, and that's the thing, it's like, you get old, I mean, pushing 80s, whatever, and you lose a step or, God bless, like, Phil Collins, does a show sitting in a chair, and it's still Phil, and it's still great. Mick, still doing roundhouse kicks and all kinds of
and
stuff.
that duck walk that
Oh,
he learned from.
yeah!
Yeah,
So, hopefully, I'll get to go again. I love that you played that song.
yeah. I, in their 80s, still doing it. That's why when people say to me, 60 used to be old,
Yeah.
right? And I'm 60. I'm going on 62 in a couple of months. I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, my buddy Don Coddington.
It's the billionaire Don Coddington's Friday 5 o'clock.
He said to me a couple of weeks ago. He goes, "Hey, dude, are you dying and not telling me?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You talked about going dirt bike riding again. You want to go water skiing. You want to do all this stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "But you never talked about it before." I was like, "Yeah, I just have time on my hands right now with chemo to go look up where to do this stuff as soon as I'm not on chemo anymore." It makes you sit back and go, "Wait, what are the things I haven't done that I want to do?" I
What am I
don't want to
missing?
think that the last time I went water skiing is the last time I'll ever ski in my life. And some people at a certain age just go, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
good." That's why I like that, Instagram showing people going, "Hey, I'm 68 and look at me. I'm in my bikini." Women, and the whole thing.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you go, girl. You go.
Oh, am I glad you brought that up, because can I just tell you, can I pivot to a story that I found yesterday? And I said, if Vinny doesn't already know this or know this woman, I can't wait to tell him about her. Can I tell you? I'm so
Sure.
glad you said this.
Yeah. And by the way, folks, we didn't plan this. I was
Nope,
just talking. We were talking about
nope.
cancer off the air. That's why I played Sympathy for the Devil. Um,
This I could not wait to bring this to your attention. It was gonna be on today's show or a show coming up, but I gotta tell you, and they make a big deal about her being a grandmother because it makes her sound older. She's 58,
yeah.
but this Pennsylvania grandmother put up an impressive showing at the US Olympics team trials over the weekend, and she finished third in which I didn't know was an event, a race walking event. more than 20 years after she first walked away from doing it, because apparently it's really grueling. Michelle Rohl, she's 58. She got third place in the 20,000 kilometer race. It's a walking event in Springfield, Oregon. It happened Saturday with a time of 1:42:17. And she began her distance runner career in college, and then she switched to race walking because of an Achilles tendon injury. 58 years old, came in third, 20,000 kilometer race walk.
Well, you just gave me more information than I had on it. I just saw a thing on Instagram. It was like, this grandmother came in third.
And the pictures, she's with other winners that are like in the prime of their life, cut abs, like sinewy, young. And this woman who came in third.
Yeah. And by the way, she is sinewy and fit looking also. Yes. She didn't look like a grandmother that you would normally see.
Doesn't look like Betty White.
No, not at all. And I think you're going to see more and more. Now, if people think race walking is bullshit, think again. It's as tough as running marathons and anything else.
Now let's talk about that, because I think I've played this for you, or I sent it to you privately at one point. But this, may I say, I don't even remember her name. This bitch, this dummy, this woman who's not a nutritionist, a fitness expert, quote unquote, making fun of people who walk and saying walking is great. It gets you from A to B. It is not exercise. Okay. Walking is not exercise. And I really kind of took offense to that on behalf of a lot of people. So can we talk about race walking?
Okay. 20,000 kilometers.
It's like
under 2 hours, you said?
Yeah. Hour 42 and 17 seconds.
I want to see this woman that you were just talking about, the fitness expert.
Yeah, expert.
I want to see her do that in a car. You know, these people are the only difference. First off, people love to make fun of race walking because of the technique that's used. The arms are flailing really fast, and it looks like you're almost putting your hips in a disjointed position to get your legs out in front of you to gain more ground.
Right.
There's
It's
a technique to it.
Yeah, it's like your feet are kind of, I'm probably describing this wrong, kind of like almost a duck walk, and you're really like, it looks like you're moving every part of your body to race walk.
Okay, Gina, you're a member of Mensa, right?
I am.
Okay, I do want you look into the camera. I don't want to see you looking down at your phone.
I'm looking at you.
Okay.
Please don't be math.
Give me the definition of walking.
Oh, well.
You're looking down, Gina.
I'm thinking our good buddy Tim Conway Jr. used to say it's controlled falling.
Tim Conway and I, as I've always said, thinking alike.
He would say, put one foot in front of the other one will naturally follow.
Walking is the process of falling and catching yourself.
There you go. That's all. That's the only thing I knew.
You have to unbalance yourself and then catch yourself and then unbalance yourself again. So it's a series of falling and catching yourself.
Right.
Do you want to know why bears don't attack us in the wild constantly?
Yes.
It's because we are bipods. We walk on our hind legs. To them, when they see us from the bushes, it's like, shit, that animal is already pissed off because they're on their hind legs.
God.
Right?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So we're already, to them, we already look like we're ready for a fight because we're up on twos.
We're up on twos. We're not on fours. We're a bipod. Now, I'm going to take you through a little lesson of the body.
Okay.
We can run as bipods, right?
Yeah.
And do you know what the definition of running is?
I mean, based on walking, I'd say faster controlled falling.
Bounding and catching yourself. So with walking, one foot has to constantly be in contact with the ground. That is the rules of race walking before you lift the other foot up. So in essence, they're doing their hamstrings are on fire the entire time.
Right. instead of any sort of leaping motion, which you wouldn't think about unless you knew the rules.
Right. So running is bounding, leaping forward, and catching yourself. So therefore you move faster. And
Right.
walking, one foot has to be on the ground at all times.
I see. So talk about Achilles heel issues.
Now,
They were probably
I'm glad you brought up the Achilles tendon.
yeah.
That's what sets humans off from other apes. So,
Listen to you. Tell me.
sorry, Christians, but we're apes.
Okay.
If you saw my back, you would know that we're all apes. I'm just saying.
Yeah, if we're not, then explain that.
All you have to do is look at my ears before I get them waxed out, then you would realize we're all apes. Okay. The Italians and most of the people in the Middle East, we proved
Sure.
the theory. You don't have to go any further.
Gotcha.
But when a monkey starts running, or a gorilla,
Okay.
or an orangutan, or any of these things, when they start running, what do, Gina?
Hmm. Well, if I'm following you correctly, they use their hands to balance, don't they, when they're running?
Yeah, they have to go on all fours. Now,
Yeah.
some of them can jog, and you'll see like a monkey can jog and just have one hand, but they have to fall forward, and
Right.
they'll use one hand or the other hand or whatever.
Right.
But any of the apes have to go onto all fours to move fast,
Right. The
except for us.
silverbacks, whatever.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
of them. Yeah, except for us. As a matter of fact, you
Mm.
ever see a monkey walk? They look so cute. They walk like Fred Sanford kind of
They
size.
toddle.
Yeah. So when they walk, they don't walk like they unbalance themselves to the side and then flip a foot forward, case themselves and unbalance themselves. So you see kind of like an old Fred Sampson old man
I
walk
see.
to get do you know why?
Uh-uh.
They're missing two things that we have. One is the Achilles tendon.
Ah.
We have the Achilles tendon, which allows us to be able to do what we do.
Right.
Right, we don't have to go side to side. We have something that allows us to go bloop.
Yeah, up and down.
Now they have a form. Don't write to me, folks. They have a form of an Achilles tendon, but it's not like ours. It doesn't go from the calcaneus down to the, you know, it just doesn't work.
He already lost us. We believe him.
We also have something else that they don't have.
What?
We have a nodule on the back of our skull. It's like a little nodule, like almost like the zygomatic process we have below in our chest. It's just a little nodule where certain muscles in our neck connect to that nodule. You ever notice when a monkey walks, their head moves side to side?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Okay, their head's not moving side to side. Everything else is moving, and the head is staying straight, right? So
Oh.
that's how they're keeping their balance. We have
Oh,
that nodule that keeps our neck up, and we're able to use that, as a leverage to be able to
I
run.
I had no idea that it had anything to do with anything north of our calf.
That's why we can walk the way we walk, and we can run the way we run. It's because of our Achilles tendons and a nodule on our skull that hooks to certain muscles that go into our neck. Period.
Thank you. That
And
was a
we,
biology lesson, boy.
and we have opposing thumbs, and therefore we were able to create the wheel, and then we
That's
were off and running.
that's right.
Don't
So,
even get me into the fire conversation.
I swear to God, I was gonna make a joke, but I didn't know, I knew that would send you off on a totally different direction.
Mm.
So, I love when you champion this is something one of the things you're very good at, which is one of the things that makes you so trustworthy, is that I recently learned this term. I'm guessing you haven't, and you're certainly not one. Have you heard the term edgelord?
No, but it sounds like something very sexual.
Yeah, it's like I'll just give you a stereotype of an edgelord, like a guy with a podcast, like who just I don't know, he's always angry and always kinda shitting on everything and just says stuff just to be bombastic and just to get people riled up,
Mm.
like, maybe an Alex Jones or something.
Right, okay.
And those kinda guys that just everybody has, their own little podcast set up or whatever, and all they do, because all they know how to do is just make fun of people and, like, shit on other people, but they don't really
Right,
contribute.
right, right.
So, without you realizing it, you combat these edgelord guys all the time, right and left. And you are such a champion of the truth and of, like, normalcy. And the reason why I say that is because I'm just sort of bringing things full circle that, when people say walking is an exercise or, if someone's overweight and they're walking, instead of saying, good for you, look at you, you're doing great, going, oh, that's why you're fat because all you're doing is walking. Thank you for making people understand and leaving room for all forms of movement being good.
Well, Gina, thank you for saying it in the way you said it. Other people would call me an idiot savant, um, which is closer to I'm kind of like a Rain Man, except I know how to be social
Sure, you do.
sometimes.
Seen you in several social circles.
Right. And sometimes I don't do well in big crowds, but that's okay. Um, my deal is there's a universal truth behind everything.
Right.
Everything else is just fodder and malarkey and bullshit, and you just name it, right? It's just whatever it
Yeah.
is. And when I hear people say stuff on the internet, it's like, okay, I'll come at you with actual facts, and then they'll still argue with me, and I'll
Of
just go,
course.
okay, I'm just going to drop the mic here because it's usually once I hand them facts, they'll come back with um, ad hominem.
Of
The other
course.
day, some guy said something, and I handed him a few facts in a very nice way, and he came back, "You need to shave, bro." Oh, oh, all right.
And that's when you know you've won.
Thank you. Conversation over with.
You
You know,
need to shave.
that's what you got? I need to shave?
They're essentially saying, "You're right, and I'm mad."
Yeah. You know, and that happens a lot with the vegans, right? It's like when you put facts in front. That's why I'm sitting here wondering at this point, maybe by the time this podcast comes out, Amazon will release my movie, which they still haven't done.
Same.
I don't know what's in that movie that's got someone's drawers in a knot, but I've actually someone somewhere does not want people to see Dirty Keto.
And your followers have been @ing and tagging Netflix going, "Where's Dirty Keto?" I mean, not Netflix, sorry, Amazon. "Where's Dirty
Mhm.
Keto?" I've seen them. I've asked.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody wants to know where Dirty Keto is. And I may end up doing a documentary on what happened to Dirty Keto, and
It might be ripe for another, another look.
yeah. So, yeah, I get it. When you're saying unpopular things, look, I can sit here and explain to you how apes walk and why we have race walking and whoever dumb shit says walking is not exercise. I'm getting ready to go over to Mount Whitney in a couple of weeks. I'm happy for that woman. Was it a woman? You said it was a
Yes.
woman? I'd be happy to have her meet me there and walk with me. We'll see when walking stops becoming exercise or when it starts becoming exercise.
Well, and also, I don't know if we've talked about this before, and I don't have it in front of me, and it's not gonna be wholly accurate, but that something to the effect of walking for between 10 and 30 minutes after a meal really helps lower your blood sugar levels. And I know that has to be true because I've had two friends with gestational diabetes, and both of their doctors, and they don't know each other, both their doctors said, "You've got to get a walking pad or a treadmill for the house because I need you walking after every meal to regulate your blood sugar." So I know there's something to it.
My Papa Tripodi and Mama Virginia walked every day. That's how I learned about that when I was a kid.
Mm,
They didn't eat dinner, they ate supper.
sure. Which is
And
usually earlier than dinner, right?
no,
It's
supper is usually later. Europeans have dinner
Oh,
and supper. And but they had supper like at 7 o'clock and then go
sure.
for a walk. And it was
Beautiful.
around the block. They would, but
Yeah.
it's probably equaled up to 3/4 of a mile or a mile. And
Right.
they didn't do like a fast walk. They didn't look like someone race walking like this 58-year-old woman. But I would implore, I'm glad that this woman is 58 and she did so well. And I'm hoping other people out there go, you know what? You're right. I can't run. A lot of times people are grossly overweight. I talk to these people every day on the phone, right?
Yeah.
And if you're morbidly obese, running, I tell people all the time, they go, should I start running? It's like, no. You're
You're gonna kill your
375
knee.
pounds. Do not
Yeah.
run,
Yeah.
but start moving. And they'll say, like, what? And I'll say, well, just go outside and walk. And they'll go, well, I live in this kind of neighborhood, or it's usually 10 below zero where I live. Okay. Do you work in a building that has a gym that may have a treadmill? Can you join a gym? Where can you go? This country is littered with treadmills.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm not trying to sound like Mr. Rich Guy here, because I'm not. But where there's a will, there's a way. As I always say, a heroin addict on the street every day figures out how to get more heroin, and they have no job.
They are good. And
Go on.
I don't have any money. I have a treadmill in my living room I got for a couple $100 on Amazon.
And Gina's broke, folks. Amazon Marketplace, Serena lives on Amazon Marketplace. We have antiques from Amazon.
I'm sure.
It's amazing what you could get. You could get bicycles, treadmills. The Schwinn spinner that I'm on right now, and I was actually I had a pro contract at one time. I could get any spinner I want. I have a free spinner in my house. And by the way, this is my second Schwinn spinner. The other one just wore out from rust. I rusted it to death. I got this one, and I've had this one now for 10, 12 years. Got it for free.
Wow.
Gym was closing down, and they were selling them, they said, come get them for $150. And I had a pickup truck when I was living in LA, and I went and picked up 3 because I knew I could sell 3 of them to my clients.
Sure.
And I said, man, I got room in my truck, but I can't sell a 4th one. He goes, you know what? You bought 3 of them. Just take one. That's the free one.
That's awesome.
And then I replaced it with my other one that still worked, and I gave it to someone else.
That's so great.
Right.
And that's the thing. I mean, you've said this how many times, we talk about like the prison workout, talk about where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And during COVID and all of these reasons, I mean, and truly, valid reasons stacked against us. We weren't allowed to leave our house. I'm 375 pounds and I live in, Alaska in the winter. I mean, whatever. There are valid reasons, but man, there is always a way. If dudes who live, 2 to a cell in 8 by 10 rooms can figure it out, the rest of us, I'm sure, can do something.
Listen, if there's a world where Pruno, just to capitalize on what Gina was just saying, where Pruno could be made.
That's right.
If there is such a world,
yeah,
where you can make Pruno, that's prison wine.
I think ketchup and fresh fruit.
There is no prison that has a vineyard that I'm aware of.
No.
The only one that has any that I'm aware of that has its own farm and raise their own cattle and their own fruits and vegetables is in Louisiana, and it's called Angola.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
That is correct. Angola is a prison where if you go there, you're not coming out. You go to Angola, you're there for life. It's a maximum security prison. Some of the most hardened criminals in the world. Angola is self-sufficient with food, with beef and everything you need. It's right there. You need to go look up Angola when you get a chance. As a matter of fact, that movie that Richard Pryor was in with Gene Wilder, where they're prison and the rodeo and the whole thing, it was a movie way back in the day.
Yeah.
It's based on Angola. And when I worked in a prison for 2 summers.
What?
Not Angola.
I'm just hearing this.
Well, Gina, I just can't just give it all to you on day one. So the thing I learned about working in prisons is that my first year, I said, my job was to go take orders on a certain block.
You were in the prison.
I
You weren't
I
like
was
making deliveries.
hands-on with prisoners. My first thing, the first year, was to go through and take their orders for cigarettes and candy and what have you.
The canteen.
Yeah, and then I would go and hand it out. I was kind of like a candy striper, if you
I
will.
was gonna say you're like the hot dog guy at the ballpark.
Yeah, it's like tossing it to them. And one thing I did learn is nobody that's in prison deserves to be there.
Oh yeah, they're all wrongly. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was wrongly accused.
Yeah.
But by the way, you learn to have respect for these people, and you learn, I had a great respect for these people. I didn't treat them as if, because they were nice people.
Yeah.
It just so happens that they were
They're
rapists and
serving their
murderers
time.
and everything
Yeah.
else.
Right.
So I asked the warden because I was working directly with the warden, right?
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
I was college football. You get these hoity-toity jobs like prison guard.
Yeah,
And,
where was the amphitheater security, concert security, and prison guard?
yeah, I did a lot of security back in the day. So I asked the warden. I said, "These guys are in here for rape and murder, like that. Those are the people I was on that wing."
Oh my God.
I said, "Why in the hell are we giving them candy and cigarettes every day?" And he goes, "Well, that's how you keep people in line." And I said, "With candy and cigarettes?" And he goes, "Listen, if you don't give them anything, they got nothing to live for, and you would have riots on your hands." He goes, "Everything we do, television privileges, going outside privileges, all of these are privileges you get. These are now all things that can be taken from you if you don't act accordingly. They have to live within a society here now."
Right.
And that's when I understood the psyche of human beings. I never thought of it before then.
The
Right?
pacification too.
Yeah, exactly. So books, all of that could be taken from you.
Yeah.
And by the way, for good behavior, then you get to be the guy that gets to go work in the library or work.
Right.
So at Angola, it's not, they don't have these guys hooked to a big ball going, "Master got me working. Someday Master set me free." Yeah, it's not like that. These people want to work
Right.
within the farm system and with the cattle and the whole thing, including the rodeo. Do you know about the famous Angola rodeo?
No.
Nobody wants their Angola rodeo privileges taken away. Nobody.
They're in the rodeo?
Yes. And it's how do you not know this? There's
I
been
don't know.
documentaries done on Angola and the rodeo.
I know a lot about the prison system. I've never heard of the Angola rodeo.
Okay. Like I said, the whole movie was based around that. The Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder movie, I can't remember what it was called, where they end up in prison and they end up in a rodeo. That's based on the Angola state. I'm pretty sure it's based on the Angola state, Louisiana state and Angola.
Stir crazy.
Stir crazy.
From 1980.
Yeah. People come from far and wide to go to that rodeo. It's a famous rodeo. And you can lose rodeo privileges. And these guys, they look, they're in there they're hardened criminals. They're never getting out, but they can become somebody again by being able to ride a bull or bronc or rope or
and have that
bulldog,
whatever many minutes of freedom, quote unquote. You're feeling like a regular person.
The famous movie with Burt Reynolds, The Longest Yard, was about the prisoners playing
that was remade.
Yeah. And I told you all that to tell you that, yes, folks, go out and race walk because I knew Gina would love that.
Keep yourself out of trouble. Race walk instead of robbing a bank.
Yeah. Do not rob a bank. Go race walk. You've seen the Dirty Harry movie. Eventually, Dirty Harry will run you down and start asking you if he shot 6 bullets or 5 bullets.
That's right.
And you don't ever want Clint Eastwood standing over you with a 44 mag going,
right.
with all the excitement, I forgot myself. You don't want to end up like that. So race walk. Is
I
that
love it.
I've done,
I don't mean to toot our own horn, but this might be a perfect show.
or it might be the worst podcast we've ever done because I used about 3,000 references that all happened before 1980. Did he say dirty hair, honey? Was it dirty hair? No, Dirty Harry. When Clint Eastwood was a cop
That's right.
in San Francisco, and he had the strongest handgun in the world at the time, the Smith & Wesson 44 Magnum.
Ooh, sends a shiver down your spine.
Yeah. You know what I call that gun?
What?
Bear spray. Because that's what I
Really?
bring with me on the trail. Yeah,
Really?
that's correct.
Wow.
Yes, no, folks, I do carry bear spray also. But if a bear is charging me and I have to grab a canister of aerosol and something that's 0.44 piece of lead that's coming out at about 1,000 feet per second, I think I'm going with the lead.
Yeah.
But I don't want to kill a bear because
Only in extreme
God,
situations.
I don't want to kill a bear.
Yeah.
Especially usually if they're rushing people is because they're trying to protect a cub.
That's what I was gonna
No,
say.
yeah, no
I
problem.
heard they're probably female to, they don't get the phrase mama bear out of nowhere.
Ooh. Yeah. So be aware when you're out there on the trails. Don't get between a bear and its cubs.
Yeah, when you're race walking, stay away from the bears.
Yeah, do
please.
not race walk on the Appalachian Trail between these months.
I
But
don't
look,
think it's gonna get
go
better than
look
this.
into race walking. It looks weird. Go out and try it, and you tell me.
Yeah.
You tell me. You want to talk about hamstring screaming for
Oh,
bloody murder. Go race walk.
I love it.
tried it. It ain't pretty. You know what is pretty, folks, is when you go by Gina Grad,
I am grand.
those grand boobs over on what is it, Instagram. I can't even speak anymore.
You're killing me.
Oh, they're out
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Instagram, they're out and proud.
Oh, yeah. She's got bikini shots. After she told me about this last week, I went right over and checked it out.
You
And
know,
she wasn't lying.
I forgot the connection because I got an influx of mail requests because my thing was set to private, and I was like, "What happened?" I forgot it was this show when I was talking about booby pics.
Yeah, they're out there, folks.
Yeah.
So now
At
Gina's
Gina
gonna probably
Grad.
tear them up and not put any more up.
Well, here's the thing, it's not like OnlyFans material, but it's just
No.
Gina having fun in the summer.
No,
There's
you look very classy, Gina. You never do
Thank
any kind of. I love that. We could talk about this in the next show.
great.
It drives me nuts that Instagram has become every woman just putting her crotch in the camera. I don't
Yeah.
know what that is, and I don't want to sound like old man Vinnie here, but come on, ladies, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah, leave a little something to the imagination.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. You
It's
know,
just where we're at in society.
yeah, moose knuckle, camel toe, whatever you want to call it. I've got enough of it to last me the rest of my life. I feel like I'm an amateur gynecologist at this point. Gina, tell them where they can find you.
Okay, at Gina Grad on Instagram. And if you let's buffer with my food account, Grain-Free Comfort Food. There's a couple of great things going on in there. It's lots of recipes and lots of NSNG foods, and also now lately Vinnie and I'm doing collaborations with Vinnie. So if you're not able to, or you're scrolling or whatever, and you want to see some of his interviews like that he's highlighting, I put them up on mine too. So at Grain-Free Comfort Food. And for the family friendly fun, at My Extra Family. It's parenting, it's step parenting, it's informative, it's fun. We can laugh and cry together over at My Extra Family. And of course, the book, My Extra Mom. That is a book about step families. Go ahead and get that by clicking through the Amazon button on VinnieTortorich.com.
There you go, folks. You know what to do. We all shop on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com. We also have the Superfan page, and I don't thank you guys enough. Everyone that does the Superfan thing, some people give us $5 a month. Some people give us $25 a month. Some people do a one-time fee. The one-time fees always crack me up because when I first started seeing those, it would be 87.5. And I'm like, what? 87? Oh, that's how much weight they lost. They gave me a dollar
Oh,
per
I
pound.
love that.
And people still, and they'll do those as one-time fees. That's why I love the people who do it that's lost over 100 pounds because that
Oh,
really
yeah.
helps the podcast. Folks, look, that's how I pay Gina and Anna and Leona and Debbie and everyone else. That's where all that money, none of that money ends up in my pocket.
Oh, it ends up in my pocket.
It ends up in Gina's pocket, who's broke, and it ends up, bandwidth and everything else that goes with making this podcast stay out there. So thank you guys for doing that. Rate and review. On behalf of Gina Grad, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with enthusiasm.